Hi, good evening, and welcome to the August I-10 Connect Public Information Meeting. I'm Jennifer Wright with the Texas Department of Transportation, and this evening I'm joined by TxDOT engineer Jorge Orajel. We have SUNS engineer on the project, Rudy Elias. We have our stellar PI component, Martin Bartlett from Barracuda PR. And we have the wonderful Joe Nahara, who is the man behind the curtain, helping us with all the switching for this Facebook Live event. Tonight, we're going to talk about a few things coming up. If you haven't had the chance to get out of your house and around this last few months, we have some pictures to show you that will show some progress on the project, which should be interesting. Jorge is going to share with us some statistics. Rudy is going to talk about milestone 1 and what that means and what that means for the future of the project. And then Martin is going to share a presentation, not necessarily in that order. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Martin. He's got a little presentation for you. He's going to talk about some lane closures, upcoming closures, and where we are on the project. Martin, thank you so much.
Jennifer, thanks to you, and thanks to everybody joining us at home again for the August 4th virtual community meeting for the I-10 Connect project. We like to always begin with just some basic information about the project, just for folks who may not have joined us in the past or who may have forgotten. Just a little bit of basic information about the project team, because it really is a team that brings a project like this to fruition. Of course, led by the Texas Department of Transportation. As Jennifer mentioned, SUNT is the general contractor on this project. Consor is in charge of inspections in the field and construction management. KCI, Kennedy Consulting, they're the ones that actually designed the project, put together page upon page upon page of plans, and Barracuda Public Relations, the firm for which I work, which is working on public involvement during the construction phase of this project. By the numbers, some important numbers to remember: a $96 million project. Construction began in February of 2019 with a total of 3 years allocated for project completion. So do a little bit of quick back of the napkin math, and you can see, I mean, we're really moving through this project. If you think about 3 years as the total timeline allowed, we're right around the halfway point. So what does this project entail? This slide, everything you see in blue on this slide is a new ramp. Either it's brand new construction or a ramp that is replacing an existing ramp. One thing we will notice, and we'll talk about a little bit later in this presentation, is that for many months we've been showing this slide and looking at it kind of virtually, but in reality, some of those ramps that you see there on your screen are beginning to come into existence out there in the real world. So that's awfully exciting. A key component to this project is where you will make the decision if you are going to Ciudad Juarez or if you're just trying to get from I-10 to Loop 375. If you've ever tried to get from I-10 to Loop 375 at the Spaghetti Bowl, you know it is a very difficult prospect. So this project, the Connect in the I-10 Connect project, is connecting I-10 to Loop 375 with their own ramps there at the Spaghetti Bowl. So right now we're looking to the south. We're going to move a little to the south now and turn the camera perspective. We're now looking to the north. We're flying above the Bridge of the Americas port of entry. Going left and right across your screen is Paisano Drive, which is US 62. So downtown is off to the left. The Coliseum and the zoo are off to the right. I-110, that short freeway spur that connects the Bridge of the Americas, is heading off there away from the bridge as it goes up towards the top of the screen, with US 54, I-10, the Spaghetti Bowl at the very top of your screen. We're going to take a moment, show you a video presentation of what the project will look like when it is complete, including a couple of driver's eye views as well. Absolutely. I will tell you, we are always happy to get those questions. So as we continue flying through the site, this is going to look very similar to the still image we just showed you, where all those ramps highlighted in blue are either a completely new ramp or a new construction which replaces an existing ramp. So again, what you'll start to see here is the idea that right now all ramps kind of lead to, or have historically led to, one area, and you are on your own to figure it out if you're going to Juarez or trying to get to Loop 375. When this project is complete, all traffic going to Juarez, all traffic going to Loop 375 from I-10 in either direction or US 54 will have its own distinct ramp, and that decision will be made back there at the Spaghetti Bowl, US 54 and I-10. As we continue flying south, we're kind of rotating the camera perspective. You can see the zoo kind of passing by off to the right side of the screen as well, coming in, the Chamizal coming in from the lower left side of the screen. Again, this is that close-up of the Paisano Drive I-110 interchange, which eliminates truck congestion by removing connectivity from Paisano Drive to the ports of entry. We're going to take a driver's eye view right now coming from downtown heading out to the lower valley. This should look very similar to what you've seen for many, many, many years. Let's say you want to head off towards Juarez, you take that exit ramp off to the south. And again, historically, all traffic has kind of gone to one spot. But when this project is complete, you're going to Juarez like this vehicle, you continue off to the right. If you're doing what we're doing, we're going to fly off to the left, take a new ramp directly to US 54, which will allow us to connect with Loop 375 in either direction. We continue southbound on US 54. You can still see there is a Paisano exit coming up, but one of the big changes is even if you were to take that Paisano exit, there is no connectivity from Paisano to the Bridge of the Americas. So if you're coming from I-10 or US 54, your Juarez decision point is right there at the Spaghetti Bowl. All right, this next view, we're going to fly from the east side, or rather drive from the east side heading off to Ciudad Juarez. So right now, this ramp that the red vehicle is on, if you've passed by it any time in the past several months, you know this ramp is closed. All Juarez traffic detoured through the purging turnaround up US 54. So again, you're going to have to go into your memory bank to remember what this drive looks like a little bit. So far, no changes compared to what you've seen for many, many years. But again, we get to this point right there as we crest that bridge. If you want to go to Loop 375 via 54, you go off to the left. If you're going to do what we're going to do, we're going to head on this new direct connector ramp straight to the Bridge of the Americas. That red car coming in off to the side, that's a car that's come from US 54 southbound to I-110, taking its Juarez exit. Again, a separate Juarez exit rather than traffic heading to Loop 375. So as we continue heading south to the bridge, what you'll notice is the opportunity for trucks and automobile traffic to be kind of separated into different lanes. That's been something that's been the case for several years now. But don't forget, those trucks had to go through a traffic light there at Paisano Drive. When this project is complete, all traffic headed to the bridge will be able to avoid those traffic lights in their trip down to the bridge. So that'll do a lot to make traffic a little bit more efficiently getting down there to the bridge. As Jennifer mentioned, there's been a lot of work ongoing around the project. Much of it you may not have seen because, like most of us, you've probably not been driving as much as you have lately. This is a quick photo that I want to share with you that shows something that is rather aesthetic about the project. We are looking right now to the east, to the east on I-10 at about Copia Street. There you see a new column, a new overpass, freshly painted to match the rest of the color scheme on Interstate 10. So that's one of those things. It took me a couple of times driving by today to recognize, oh wait, yeah, that's been newly painted. And that is one of the reasons that we had I-10 closed for the past 2 nights there at the Spaghetti Bowl. So as you drive through right now, it's kind of a patchwork. Some parts of the new construction is painted, some of it is not, but certainly everything right there in that kind of nucleus of the Spaghetti Bowl will be getting a fresh, or the new construction will be getting new paint to match the existing assets. All right, here's something I want to talk about, an upcoming traffic impact that begins at 9 p.m. tonight. So in about 3 hours and some change, US 54 will be closed to all traffic southbound at I-10. Now, most of the time on this project, when major roadways have been closed, they have been reopened still in the wee hours of the morning by 5 a.m. This closure beginning tonight at 9 p.m. will not lift until 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So we should absolutely expect impacts to tomorrow morning's commute. So if you're coming from Northeast El Paso and you take 54 to get down to Loop 375 to the border highway to go east or west, this closure will impact you on the morning commute tomorrow morning. All traffic will be detoured to take I-10 to the Paisano Chelsea exit and then work their way south from there. So again, that is a big change for traffic that is heading on I-10 or heading on US 54 to Loop 375 with the recognition that it would usually be cleared by the morning commute. Tomorrow morning's commute will be impacted by this closure. And we will repeat that next week as well. On Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we're expecting a 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. closure. and on Thursday night into Friday morning, a 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. closure. So 3 impacts for the morning commute if you use Loop US 54 rather, coming out of the Northeast to get to Loop 375. Quick plug as well, make sure we just before this meeting, we sent out a text message alert. So if you have signed up for those text message alerts, you got a reminder sent directly to your phone about this project, about that closure. And we'll continue doing that next week as well. Some other upcoming traffic impacts, not nearly so impactful, we just want to put on your radar screen. Some on-ramp closures on Gateway South to southbound US 54, both right there at the Spaghetti Bowl, south of Yandell, and in the Pershing area. Again, those closures typically not as impactful because you can just go down to the next on-ramp and get on. Lane closures on southbound US 54 between Pershing and Montana next week. Again, not a complete closure, but just want to put that on your radar as well. Now, this is one that's going to be a long-term closure, and typically these long-term closures are high impact. This will probably be a rather low impact long-term closure. Starting next week, Gateway East closed to all traffic immediately adjacent to Lincoln Park. Interestingly, that section of Gateway Boulevard has no driveways from businesses or residences that come onto it, so shouldn't be too much of an impact. But if you typically ride the Gateway through that part of Central El Paso, you'll have to get back on I-10 and then bail out again at Reynolds. But again, a long-term closure of Gateway East immediately adjacent to Lincoln Park starting next week. So those are some of the upcoming traffic impacts in the near term. This next item is just kind of a project preview we want to give you that talks about kind of the benefit of this project, because we're all living through the traffic headaches, but there is a lot of benefit beyond just concrete and steel. A lane management system asset coming online as part of this project. This is why you see those lane and shoulder closures on I-10 near Piedras. You know, if you've driven through the area, that may seem like it's way too far out of the Spaghetti Bowl area to be related to the I-10 Connect project, but in fact, it is related to I-10 Connect. This project includes a lot of new electronic signs, including a lane management system. We have an illustration we'll show you in a moment, but these are high-tech, full-color signs right over the travel lanes that will help guide travelers to make early decisions about which lanes they should be using. The lane management system will be used for all kinds of traffic management, including the option of diverting large freight versus passenger vehicle traffic into certain lanes. And that will all be managed by TxDOT's Transvista system, the men and women that make sure those signs are showing you when a road is closed, when those current X's and arrows are lit up over the freeway lanes. But this will be something that doesn't look like what we're used to seeing. If we can take a look at the next slide, you see full color digital signage above lanes along I-10 near the Spaghetti Bowl. In this illustration, you see it has 4 lanes for westbound I-10, 2 lanes for US 54, but the designers believe that the real impact of this will be not just in showing you which lanes go to which roadways, but in instances where, for example, it makes sense to move certain types of traffic into different lanes. So that'll be something new to El Paso drivers, one of many things as it relates to the I-10 Connect project. But so we'll continue to keep you up to date on that project or that piece of the project. But just want to give you a heads up as to why those lanes are closed all the way out there at I-10 and Piedras. Of course, we're always really encouraging you to visit our website, i10connectelpaso.com. That really is the place, the central hub of information for this project. There you see our hotline number, 844-463-1010. That's a great way to give us a call if you have any questions about the project. As the project continues, we're happy to answer those within one business day. Also, you can email us, info@i10connectelpaso.com. We've been monitoring that email address as this meeting has gone. Haven't seen any emails come in yet, but again, we always encourage you, if you have a question, either call us, email us, or reach out on social media, and we'll be sure to answer your questions as quickly as possible. Another touch point to get information about this project is these monthly community meetings. When we started this project, of course, they were held like a more traditional community meeting held in person, but ever since COVID-19 has changed the way we do business in many ways, it's changed the way we do business in terms of these meetings. So we're happy to continue bringing these to you online at i10connectelpaso.com and via our Facebook page. The next one, the first Tuesday of every month. So that will be Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. And with that, I'm happy to open it up to any questions, which we, again, have not received any questions via email just yet, but happy to answer any questions which anyone else might have. Jennifer.
Thank you, Martin. Well, maybe if we hear a little bit from the engineers on the project, will spur some questions, or some people might have some questions who are watching. So Jorge Orejel, who is the TxDOT engineer on this project, tells me he has some statistics to share with regard to the project. So Jorge,
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me just give you some interesting facts and statistics on the project. As you all know, this project was led back in November the 6th, 2018. We awarded the contract to Sun Construction in November 15th, 2018, and we gave them the notice to proceed in January 15, 2019. And then we started the work on February the 19th, 2019. This project was originally led as a $91 million project, and just as Martin mentioned, it became a $96 million project because of additions that TxDOT did to the project. And so far, we had paid $53 million, from which $41 million are funded by the federal government, and $11 million are coming from the state from the state funds. We are projecting the project to be to cost the taxpayers $100 million. So that means that it's a little bit more than what we anticipated. And yet all that is because we're encountering some unforeseen issues. However, the interesting part about this is that we're not adding a lot of time to the project. So far, the project has been, there's a 52.3% completed in work in the project, whereas we have used 54.52% of the time given in the project. So that means that even though there's a 2% separation right there, I'm going to say that that's something that we can recover from now till the end of the project. Another interesting fact is that we originally had on the project 774 days, from which we had already charged 422 days. So again, we passed the midpoint in 19 months, which is very good. So statistically, we're doing good in the project. We're on time, we're on budget, okay? And there's ways to minimize the impact, both financially and time-wise, in the project that we're engineering to do. The other interesting facts is that we have so far excavated 7,300 cubic yards from the project, and we have used of embankment 7,500 cubic yards. It's pretty much the same amount that we have excavated that we use as embankment. And then as far as putting concrete paving, we're about 10,000 square yards. So not a lot, but just keep in mind that most of the concrete paving is gonna go at the end of the project. So Jennifer, with that, I mean, those are some interesting facts that I have so far. I'll be giving more statistics as we continue with these progress meetings, so the public can see the difference.
Thank you, Jorge. I find that incredibly interesting, especially since this is a job that is right in the middle of a dense urban area. And so a lot of the concrete paving of which you speak is up on structures. And, the spaghetti bowl is getting these new noodles, and it's fascinating to watch as it goes up from the glimpses that you get driving by. For that reason, I really appreciate the pictures, and we'll load up this presentation with a lot more next time. Rudy, tell us all about Milestone 1. Rudy Elias, of course, is our engineer from Sun Construction, who is building this project for TxDOT.
Yeah, so Milestone 1, we're targeting a little bit after Labor Day to start the milestone. That milestone consists of constructing the I-10 westbound direct connect to the southbound IH-110. That direct connect will also give you access to the Loop 375, the US 54 southbound. So it's actually a very critical direct connect for the public, because there's 3 points of access that they could travel on to get to their destination. For our contract, that milestone's about 6 months. Obviously, we're shooting to finish a lot sooner. But But once milestone 1 is complete, we'll stripe the bridge and open it up for the public, sometime in January.
So people will get back that much missed I-10 westbound exit to IH-110 and the new passage to 375 about 6 months after you start milestone 1. That's great news.
One other key point to note for the project, I know Jorge touched on all the quantities. The project is primarily a structure job. There's 16 bridges on the job, and currently right now we have all but 2 under construction. So if you look at that from, like a percentage, we're more than 50% complete on structure work.
Right. That's excellent news. And so that falls in line with where we are in general on the project, according to what Jorge just told us. So that's wonderful. You have anything else you'd like to share? When will that eastbound ramp headed to IH-110 come into play? So
the eastbound ramp will not start until after the westbound is completed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so as soon as we're done with westbound, we'll immediately close the eastbound, which includes the, I guess it's ramp H, the US 54 going, or the I-10 eastbound to the US 54 northbound ramp. So that'll close, and we'll start that immediately after milestone 1, and that should take 7 months.
So that's another 13 months then that I'm counting on that. So yeah, that seems about right. Martin, do we have any questions come in yet?
So far, not yet. Nothing via email.
Okay.
But one thing that I think to underscore what Rudy said, and I think the lesson he was letting us know is there's still a lot of work to be done. And so, I mean, we will certainly have many items to talk about between now and the completion of this project. Just because things have been relatively quiet lately doesn't mean that it'll stay quiet forever.
Right. Well,
yes. Mm-hmm.
So milestone 3 is going to probably overlap a little bit of milestone 1 and milestone 2. So as far as the public's concerned, milestone 3 deals with a hard closure of Paisano. And at that point, nobody's going to be able to access the port of entry from Paisano anymore, because that's the final intent of the design.
Absolutely. And that's a great point. I mean, just for everybody who's watching at home or maybe watching us in the days to come on Facebook, a really important thing to remember is so much of this project is focused right there at I-10 and US 54, but that the area around Paisano has been under a lot of construction lately. A lot of changes have already taken place, and as Rudy indicated, it's not done yet. So much of this project, the long-term changes will be how you access the Bridge of the Americas. It will not be from Paisano. It will be through the Spaghetti Bowl. If you're coming on I-10, you'll need to make that decision at the Spaghetti Bowl. If you're coming on US 54 southbound, you can make that decision at the Spaghetti Bowl. So to Rudy's point, lots of changes coming in construction, but many of those changes will start to be the permanent changes to the way we're all thinking about getting around. And so that's why we've been encouraging folks, start building those good habits now. Really think about accessing the Bridge of the Americas from US 54 and I-10.
That's right. Get on the I-110 from I-10 or US 54, because that's the final configuration, and that's going to help out that neighborhood quite a bit with their air quality concerns that they've had and they brought to us. And TxDOT does listen to the public when we have those public input opportunities, so please keep that in mind. We did do a major change on this project that is quite impactful, but it'll actually help flow at the bridge southbound into Mexico from this point forward. So does anybody have anything else they'd like to add before we talk about, again, the website and joining us next month? Jorge, Rudy, Martin?
Yes.
Well, I thank you so much for joining us tonight on this Facebook Live event for I-10 Connect El Paso. And I want you to remind you, go to the website, i10connectelpaso.com, and sign up for text alerts, email alerts, and for the newsletter. And you can also just see all kinds of wonderful pictures, just like you can on the Facebook page. Just the I-10 Connect El Paso Facebook, where obviously you're with us now. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again first Tuesday in September, 5:30 p.m. For the Texas Department of Transportation, I'm Jennifer Wright. Drive safely.